The New York Knickerbockers have finally, in almost a decade, reached the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. They made it as a 5 seed, going 47-35 in this regular season, and they upset the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round, and might I add, pretty handedly. Their big stepped up, Jalen Brunson is a dog, and they're a team that looks to have a lot of optimism going forward. And I'm gonna tell you now, if I'm a Knicks fan, I have plenty of optimism for this team. They have some young guys that stepped up and quickly, Obi Toppin, and even Quentin Grimes. But they also have some security with regard to Jalen Brunson, who they acquired last offseason, Julius Randle, who's a staple on this team, and Josh Hart. Now, there are some concerns for this team because there's some extensions that are to be had very soon with Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and RJ Barrett. So they're going to have to figure out who they want to come up off of. And I'm not going to lie, I think it's going to be RJ Barrett, but we're going to get to that a little bit further into the video. Before we hop into it, if you're new, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about my offseason preview series, and let's jump into it. Coming off what most fans would call a successful year, the Knicks are looking to really bolster this team and propel them to the next step and the next level. Their free agents as it stands right now is Derrick Rose, Miles McBride, Trevor Keels, and Dwayne Washington Jr. Now, the Knicks did decline Derrick Rose's team option, and that could be in an effort to bring him back on a cheaper price because he was getting paid a good amount. Miles McBride also has a team option, so they have some wiggle room with regard to where they want to go with that. And Trevor Keels, I think you bring him back, give him the qualifying offer, see what he could develop into, because he is a very young player still. Same with Dwayne Washington Jr. In terms of players that are already on this team that are pretty solidified, you have Emmanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin, who are both extension eligible. Now, Emmanuel Quickley, he's probably gonna get some money. He might not get the bag because he showed a lot more development in the second half of this current contract, but I think Emmanuel Quickley going forward is going to be a very valuable piece and a very valuable six-man going forward. To be honest, Emmanuel Quickley is what I wish Bones Highland was. That might be the best way to put him. And then Obi Toppin, I've had some bad allegations against him, called him a 2K player for his first year or so, but now he's looking to be a guy that is developing. And when Julius Randle went down, he was very big for this team. Now, obviously, it was more so Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein opening it up for him, but Obi Toppin still hit shots when it mattered. He hit big shots in big moments, and he is showing to be a pretty good player going forward. The only real option for the Knicks right now is just to strengthen their roster. There's no other way to put it. They have pieces there that are already pretty good, but they have some question marks in pieces like RJ Barrett, who is severely inconsistent at times. And though I'm an RJ Barrett enjoyer, I think he's a guy that it's time to move off of him, and I think it's time for a change of scenery for him as well, a change of role and a change of pace for him, because I feel like ever since he was on the Knicks, it felt like his role just didn't fit to who he was as a player, and I think it's just that time, and you could use him in a trade package to do whatever you need to do. And like I said, there are some players out there that you can trade for, and I'm kind of teasing at the trade rumor, but really and truly, Harden just opted into his deal with the 76ers, and he's doing that in an effort to get a trade in. And the two teams that were announced that were the most interested and are coming up with packages were the Clippers and the Knicks. Now, with the Clippers, they're probably the ones that have the package to do it, but with the Knicks, I think he fits best with this team. Let me explain. With the Knicks, he has some lob threats in Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson, and even Isaiah Hartenstein. But what makes it even better for this team is that Jalen Brunson has proved that he could play off the ball and that he excels off the ball. We saw that when he played with Luka all those years in Dallas. So when we talk about the Knicks and Harden going there, we know Harden's going to have the ball primarily in his hands, or at least a lot of the time. And you're going to need people that can play well off of that. And even though Jalen Brunson is their main facilitator, their main guy, like I said, we've seen he plays well off the ball, and it could work if they decide to go that route. The real question is, what would the Knicks give up? Now, we already know RJ Barrett, he's probably gonna be in a package for that trade, but I'll be surprised if Julius Randle or Emmanuel Quickley is in that package. I could also see Obi Toppin maybe being in that package as well, but I wouldn't be mad at that because James Harden would still have Hartenstein, Robinson, and Randle to dish the ball to. Now, originally, before they got Brunson, I don't know if you guys remember, but they were trying to go get Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell was linked to the Knicks for a while. We were hearing a lot of rumors. Hell, I thought he was going to the Knicks, and he didn't end up doing that. We obviously know how that story unfolded, but you could still be looking for a scoring guard to go next to Jalen Brunson, and I think James Harden would be a great guy for that, especially with the height that he has. I don't know if the 6'1", 6'2" Jalen Brunson would have paired too well with the 6'1" Donovan Mitchell, because that defensive backcourt would have been atrocious. I don't even want to go there, but regardless, I do think that that would be a good fit for James Harden. Now, the Clippers would be a good fit as well, but we're going to talk about that in our Clippers video later on. He might get traded before the Clippers video. I don't think Quickly will be traded because I don't think they're interested in signing and trading him, but I could see Grimes and Toppin also being available if the Knicks are looking to make that trade. And personally, I would try to see if I could keep Grimes over Toppin. Even though I like Toppin, Grimes is a very good player. He's shown that he's a dog and can shoot the lights out the ball. I'm gonna get candid for a moment about the Knicks, and I'm gonna be honest. The Knicks are one of those teams that I don't ever think they're gonna get over the hump. There's a few teams in this league where they're always super close. They always have a lot of talent. You don't really see them rebuild too often. Mostly they retool. And I'm not gonna say the Knicks are one of those teams because, like I said at the top of this video, it's been almost a decade since they made the second round. So they were doing some kind of rebuilding. But with that being said, I don't think they're a team that can make it to that next level. For some reason, they're not able to land a star. I don't know what it is. Jalen Brunson is a star. He is, but a superstar. The last time they did that was Carmelo Anthony. We haven't seen that in years, despite many players being linked to the Knicks over the years. And it's hard to believe that they'll get a guy like James Harden. But even if you do get a guy like James Harden, what winning basketball has he shown you that's going to help your team and move the needle? The only thing that I genuinely believe is moving the needle with regards to Harden coming to the Knicks is that your talent just rises, but talent isn't enough to win the chip. So it's going to be hard for the Knicks going forward, regardless if they get Harden or not. And not for nothing, I feel like it's also hard for the Knicks to sign players in free agency, because if you look at who their head coach is, and don't get me wrong, I love Tibbs, but let me land real quick. Tibbs is a guy that we've heard is hard-nosed. Hell, even we blame him for the Derrick Rose injury a lot of the time. That's an uninformed opinion, but regardless, it happens. That's my whole overall point. And if we think that, then obviously players who are in the situation, who are in the league, they know much more about Tibbs than we would ever know. So with that being said, maybe they know, I don't want to work that hard. Though I love playing ball, though I love it all, but grinding in practice, working my whole life to get to this point to where now we have to grind 2-hour practices, things like that. You've done that your whole life. At this point, it's time to just hoop. It's time to do your job. And players don't want to grind and practice like that. Now, the Heat, that's another story, because they developed that culture. That team has been that way for decades. It is what it is. But Tibbs alone, it makes it hard, and it makes it that much harder to bring in players. And again, I'm not saying Tibbs is a bad coach. And I'm not even saying I dislike Tibbs, but I do think that is a real thought-provoking statement that you have to think about. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What direction do you think the Knicks should go in? I don't know what direction they will go in, but I do think they should look into trading for Harden. Don't pull the trigger impulsively, but make sure you get good stuff in return while not imploding your roster and its foundation that you've built up into this point. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. It is your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories and debates on the tube. And as always, I am out. Peace.